Hello. We'll begin the session now.
Okay, sir, saw you. I understand. I will do the welcome and intro. Am I audible, sir?
yes, Dr. Chandra, you can carry on.
Yes,
Dr.
yes,
Veena,
dear.
ready?
Yes, yes, Chandra.
Okay. Sir, recording, sir.
Done. Recording already done.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, wonderful evening to everyone here. Thank you very much for traveling with us continuously, along with the core team members of the Mental Health Webinar Series and the organizers, the Department of Psychology, the American College Madurai, and the associating partners, Madras School of Social Work, Chennai, Red Pond Educational and Psychological Research Center, Madurai, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, Madurai, MS Chelamuthu Institute of Mental Health and Rehabilitation, Madurai, and Psycho-Oncological Association, Turkey. We warmly welcome you all, the participants and the resource person of today, for a session on alcoholic addiction. So today we have Dr. Veena with us. She is not new to most of us, but still, to introduce her to the new people of the group, Dr. Veena is a practicing homeopathic doctor, and she is also a consultant psychologist based in Chennai. And she has also experiences in teaching and in research. She has published many papers in the national and international journals, and she has also experience working in the corporate sectors. And she has interest in different aspects of psychology. She is also the recent recipient of the INSPA Award. With these credentials, I hand over the session to you, Dr. Veena. Thank you very much for being here for another session. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Chandra. I'll start sharing the screen. I hope I will do it. Can you see? Can you see the screen sharing,
We can
Chandra?
see, we can see that, Dr. Veena. We can see. Now
Okay.
you're scrolling down the slide. Yeah,
Yes,
perfect.
yes. Good evening, everyone. Today's topic is about alcohol addiction. We have seen in the recent times that incidences of alcohol usage has been high, and also uh, beyond the age limit, it has been increasing, and there have been many incidences, high risk incidences, things, antisocial things that have been happening due to this alcohol addiction. Let us know what is alcohol addiction and how it is impacting us physically, mentally, and also socially, how it has a huge impact in our lives. So, when we talk about addiction, addiction is a biopsychological disorder which is characterized by repeated use of drugs. It could be any sort of a substance that creates a huge impact on our central nervous system, and it has a huge impact on our behavior. And this behavior will be projecting as gambling or some harm to self and to others. So any substance, for instance, that creates such sort of changes in our body are known as substances, and if we take them in large quantities, it is known as abuse. So it could be either tobacco, it could be alcohol, it could be opioids, it could be cannabis, it could be other solvents, solvent vapors, or it could be the other drugs like LSDs or so. And today's we will be pertaining our topic only to alcohol. So when it comes to alcohol addiction, alcohol addiction is also known as alcoholism, and also it is a disease that affects people of all walks of life. Like I said, nowadays even people as young as adolescents have been getting abused by alcohol. So it has no discrimination between like the sex or the race or socioeconomic status as well. And when we look at the factors like genetics, the sex, race, or socio-economic status might be predisposing someone for alcohol addiction. You could see, like when it comes to socio-economic status, in the elite groups, it starts as a social drinking, and when you look at the lower socio-economic status, to combat daily labor, or when they go for work, or when they are in poverty, as a coping mechanism people get addicted to alcohol. And there is no particular single cause that we can say this is the particular cause for alcohol addiction. And also psychological, genetical, and behavioral factors can all contribute for having the disease. So biologically also there will be certain things that will be what to say, predisposing us to consume alcohol. Certain chemicals that have been secreting inside us will also be pushing us for alcohol addiction. So alcohol use disorder is a pattern of alcohol use, and also it involves problems in controlling your drinking pattern. And also continuous usage of alcohol causes many problems. It could be in your workplace, it could be in your family, it could be like with the society. So this alcohol will have a huge impact how you are as a person, how your interpersonal communication is, or how your relationship with others is. And also having to drink more to get same effect. Like what happens when you get into alcohol addiction, when you take a minimum amount of alcohol, you'll not be having that high feeling, or you'll not be feeling satisfied, so you try to increase the dosage. And this is known as like tolerance. So people will be having a huge craving, or they will be increasing the amount of alcohol they will be consuming. And also the other particular thing pattern which tells that the person is having alcohol use disorder is the withdrawal symptoms. So when you stop taking alcohol for a particular period of time, say 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, you will slowly start to develop some sort of symptoms. We will see those withdrawal symptoms later. So a person will be having these withdrawal symptoms when you are having uh, all these patterns, then you will be said that you have alcohol use disorder. So it will be you don't have control on your drinking, and you will be preoccupied with alcohol and continuous usage of alcohol even when you know that it is very harmful for your health. And also you have to like drink more to get the same effect, like you, there is an increased tolerance. And also you will have withdrawal symptoms when you stop taking alcohol. So when you have these symptoms, then it is known as you are suffering with alcohol use disorder or alcoholism. And when you look at types of alcohol that are available, depending on the percentage of alcohol, they could be divided like for instance, if you see like and beer has 8% of alcohol. When you look at wine, it contains 12 to 14% of alcohol. And when you look at the hard drinks like whiskey, rum, brandy, they'll be having more than 40% of alcohol in them. So, what are the symptoms of alcohol addiction? So, when these symptoms are there, you can say that the person is having alcohol addiction. One will be like increased quantity or frequent usage, high tolerance for alcohol, or lack of hangover symptoms. So hangover symptoms you could see in lot of movies, like they'll be having a party in the night time, and the next day morning the person will be like waking up with a lot of headache and no heaviness in the head. He will be feeling dizzy, uh, as if thousand hammers are banging inside his head. And he will be feeling nauseated, and he will be feeling like uh, weak, lethargic, not properly oriented. So if they lack in these hangover symptoms, or when they drink in appropriate times, like they don't have any particular timing for taking alcohol, or particular place, without even knowing whether it is appropriate for them to take alcohol at that time or that place, without even bothering about that, if they consume alcohol, then it is known as addiction. And also wanting to be where alcohol is present. If some people invite you for parties, instead of like avoiding, even if you don't know those people very much, if they are not your close friends also, just for namesake, or if you know them and they invite you for parties, you tend to go there. Or sometimes they gate crash also for parties, just to go and have alcohol. So such incidences where there is a drive for you to like get into places or get in connected with people who take or who consume alcohol just to have alcohol. This also says that the person is having alcohol addiction. And also changes in friendship, like I told you, like someone with alcohol addiction may choose friends who also drink heavily, because that will be easier for them. If the family members ask why you are like this, they may say it's not because my friend has asked me, my friend told only today I got a promotion, or I got something, I got a new job, I am throwing a party, or I bought a cycle, or I mean not cycle, bike or car, so I'm throwing a party. So because my friend has invited, that's the reason I have went, I just wanted to stop. So you will be like finding ways and means like to get into consuming alcohol, or avoiding contact with loved ones. So many of us would have experienced this. Whenever they have that drinking, they'll not come, they will cover their mouth, or they try to have some mouth fresheners. No, when the wife asks the husband, just breathe out, they will say no, no, nothing is there, sort of. So they will find out some ways and means to avoid their loved ones whenever they consume this alcohol, but they will not leave the alcohol. Okay. And also hiding alcohol or hiding while drinking. Some people are there who will be having small small bottles that they keep in the flush tanks also. So they say that they are going for the restrooms, or they want to read the paper, they will be having their own no hiding places, like as if it's a treasure, as if it's something very precious, sort of. And these people and this alcohol will be having a huge impact on their day-to-day activities, in spite of knowing the harm, in spite of knowing that the alcohol influences their day-to-day activities very much. These people can't refrain from themselves in consuming alcohol. So when such sort of things happen, so it is also one of the symptom of alcohol addiction. And also there is increased lethargy, depression, or lot of mood swings, lot of distress. So there will be a lot of aggressive behaviors, or there will be very sober mood. So there is always fluctuation in the emotional patterns. They know that that is having a huge impact on their psychological and emotional well-being. Still they can't refrain themselves to consuming alcohol. And also sometimes this might lead in causing harm to self, causing harm to other people. You might have known like a lot of domestic violence cases, a lot of sexual abuses, or lot of abuses that happen in the households. If you probe, you could see like the husband or the father or the person is in an inebriated condition, and he doesn't know what he is doing, and he commits the crime. So alcohol addiction drives you to such an extent that you will be in legal problems, or in the professional problems, where there is large absenteeism from your workplace. You will not be able to concentrate on your work. You will not be regularly going to your office. You will not be able to complete your targets, or there will be a lot of professional problems as well in the workplace. But still, these people can't refrain themselves from consuming alcohol. So alcoholism, what does it cause? What how alcoholism has impact on our physical health? So you might all know, like there is increased cases of cancer nowadays, and also increased cases of non-communicable diseases, mainly with the heart disease, and also high rise of diabetes, hypertension. So, alcohol addiction can result in heart diseases, liver diseases, mainly the cirrhosis of liver, and also the cancer of liver. Okay, and also there will be like narrowing of the blood vessels, which lead for hypertension. And when the person is having hypertension, it will be again leading to lot of problems in your body, because blood is one thing which is very vital for you. So when you are hypertensive, the blood vessels become narrow because of atherosclerosis, and you will be not having proper blood supply. Sometimes it might lead to lot of problems. So sometimes there will be damage to the tissues. Sometimes there will be like death of the tissues, lot of complications. And also alcoholism can also cause like ulcers, like peptic ulcers. When you consume too much of alcohol, the lining inside your stomach slowly it gets eaten, and that's the reason you have peptic ulcers. Diabetes complication, like I told you, there will be fluctuations in your insulin levels, which in turn will be shooting up your sugar levels. And when you take up the sexual problems, you will be having like uh, premature ejaculation problems or erectile dysfunctions, or you might be having a lot of sort of sexual disorders as well. When you are in an inarborated condition, you will be like getting into a lot of illegal sexual activities, sometimes unprotected sex, which in turn might be leading for transmission of sexual diseases like high rise of STDs, HIV problems. Or sometimes what happens with when you are like having unprotected sex, that might lead for unwanted pregnancies as well. And if the females are consuming alcohol while they are pregnant, they might lead to lot of birth defects. There will be lot of complications on the fetus. And the next one will be bone loss because of the calcium levels, the impact on the calcium levels. And also, as I told you, alcoholism has impact on diabetes. Diabetes means like when your insulin levels are shooting up. Diabetes is it's a complex of diseases which has a huge impact on all other organs also. It could lead to diabetic retinopathy, wherein it has it leads for your vision problems, where the retina will be like sometimes having compression, or sometimes the blood supply for the eye, or the nervous system would be like damaged, leading for vision problems. You could be having leading for a sort of partial blindness, or loss of vision, partial loss of vision. Sometimes when you consume alcohol which is not prepared in a proper manner, you might have heard in the newspapers like people consume the alcohol which is prepared the toddies or whatever that is prepared illegally. When they consume the methyl alcohol, usually it is ethyl alcohol. So when they consume this methyl alcohol, there are many cases of uh, loss of vision. And also alcohol has huge increased risk of cancer. So it could be any cancer, not only with the stomach cancer or liver cancer. Alcohol is one of the main reasons, apart from your tobacco, for oral cancer, or for your cancers in the stomach, liver, other organs as well. And also alcohol suppresses your immune function. So once your immune function is like deteriorated, you will be more prone to have lot of diseases, lot of infections. Like I told you, HIV is one thing. uh, when your immunity is compromised, you are more prone for such viral infections. So what is alcohol intoxication? Intoxication means when you are having high rise of any amount of any substance that leads to lot of damage, that has a huge impact on your uh, body and the functions of your organs, then that is known as intoxication. So when you have high amounts of alcohol in your blood concentration, which leads for impairment of the vital organs, then that is known as intoxication. Not only with your physical health, it has a huge impact on your behavioral as well as the mental health. So what happens? Your behavior will be unruly, you will be having unstable mood, your judgment will be impaired, you will be having slurred speech, your attention, your memory is impaired, and also you'll be having poor coordination. So you'll not be knowing what you are doing. You could see in many movies how a person under the influence of alcohol behaves. Even he gets the languages which he doesn't know. Even Greek and Latin also comes out of his mouth very easily, and he will be like as if he has come out fresh from the Oxford University, talking all the in the colloquial language, we say as Peter Wilgram. So when you talk in English or something, so with gibberish or whatever it is, he feels as if he is the most knowledgeable person, philosophical. They become so philosophical that times they start to like give lot of philosophical statements, do that, do this, everything, whatever anguish, everything what they have inside, they try to vent it out. So sometimes it happens so that they lose their control, they lose their judgment. Sometimes they get into uh, arguments, and these arguments might lead into a sort of a huge difference of opinion, where it ultimately sometimes lead one person killing the other person at the barge. So the rage would be more that he doesn't know what he is doing because of lack of the judgment or impaired judgment. He will not be having control on his senses. Sometimes what happens, the toxication would be in such a level that the next day morning he doesn't know what has happened earlier. It's known as blackouts, you might have heard. I don't know what has happened that day. I consumed alcohol and I slept. After that, I don't remember what has happened. So not only with alcohol, there are other substances also nowadays, because you need to be very careful, because nowadays the social drinking has become a huge rage in the adolescents. So need to be very careful when we are going out with new people, so that people don't abuse us, because a lot of rape cases that have been reported do happen when certain substances are mixed up with your drinks. So need to be very careful about it. So and also sometimes very high blood alcohol might lead to coma, and also ultimately it leads to death. So alcohol withdrawal, I told you, like there are a few symptoms, and when these symptoms are present, then only you'll say that the person is suffering with alcohol addiction. So what do you mean by alcohol withdrawal? So when you are consuming alcohol and you suddenly stop it, okay, you suddenly stop it after having heavy or prolonged alcohol, there will be certain symptoms you will be experiencing, and those signs and symptoms are something the patient says, signs are something you elicit in the person. So there will be increased sweating, increased heart rate, there will be hand tremors, delirium tremors, And also sometimes there will be hallucinations, there will be tactile hallucinations mostly in alcohol withdrawal. There will be not only tactile hallucinations, auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations are also present sometimes. There will be problems with your sleep pattern, there will be nausea, vomiting sensation, dizziness, restlessness, frustration, agitation, anxiety. Sometimes it might lead to seizures as well. So and these symptoms can be as severe as it will be impairing your function of your brain, and also that would be ultimately leading to impairment of your daily functions, or you'll not be able to like mingle with people, or the entire thing will be at chaos. So you'll not be able to concentrate on your work, or you'll not be able to mingle with other peoples, or you'll not be able to come up in social gatherings. So alcohol withdrawals will be having all these symptoms: the sweating, rapid heartbeat, rapid increase, sometimes there will be hyperthermia, increased temperature always. In substance abuse, when you take opioids, there will be decreased and temperature, decreased heart rate. Increased heart rate is known as tachycardia, and decreased heart rate is known as bradycardia. When the person is under opioid dependence, when they are consuming lot of opiates, then there will be decreased heart rate and also decreased temperature. So you could like really make out what substance the person is consuming. So mostly with other substances also you can see these withdrawal symptoms of sweating, hot increased heart rate, or sleep problems, nausea, vomiting, or restlessness, all these things. But for opioids especially, it will be decreased heart rate. And when we look at the impact on safety, what happens, you all know, like people under the influence of alcohol, they don't go by the rules, isn't it? They always want to indulge in high risk behaviors, especially the adolescents. They have this high testosterone or adrenal gush, and they think like, okay, unless they do such sort of high risk behaviors, they don't feel like they are adolescents. So what happens, under the influence of alcohols, they get into on their bikes, or they get into the four wheelers, and most of the vehicle accidents that happen, when you see, you could see it's under drunken driving. Okay. You could see lot of cases, not only with the men, even women also. In the recent days, you could have seen a popular a video that has been very viral even in the lockdown period, where one of the lady under the influence of alcohol, she was like shouting at the policemen who are like trying to take her no under custody for drunken drive case. So such sort of things do happen. And this alcohol addiction will have a huge impact on your relationship. There will be like problems within the spouse, problems within the family, where the person, I mean, the husband or the head of the family, under the influence of alcohol, if he comes and always beats up the wife, or if he has quarrel with the other family members, he doesn't properly provide finance for the no safety of the household. So there will always be like no what to say, there will be always be ruckus at home. So there will not be any harmony, no family harmony is there. The family dynamics entirely is jeopardized. So every time the father is beating the mother, the children are not taken properly. This ultimately will be leading either the wife no tries to kill the husband, or the husband, sometimes in an inebriated condition, he tries to throw something on the wife and kills, or they may cause harm to other family members as well. So there will be relationship problems. And like I told you, alcohol has impact on sexual no like the premature ejaculations, or the erectile dysfunctions. So ultimately, this will be leading into what to say, dissatisfactory sexual lives, that will be again having a huge impact in your marital life as well. And also, I mean, adolescents or kids who are into this alcohol addiction will have poor performance in the school, or people who are in alcohol addiction can't perform that much in their work because of lack of concentration, because of irritability, because of withdrawal symptoms, because of low self-esteem, sometimes because of peer pressure. So they really don't know how to tackle with the peer pressure. Mostly students get into the habit of alcohol because of peer pressure. So they will be saying, if you don't do this, if you don't do this, you're not a man. If you don't smoke, you're not a man. If you don't booze, oh my god, you're 16 years, you're 17 years and you didn't boozing. So such sort of, and to get into that peer, they want that love and belongingness. And if they have a disrupted family, and they don't have that love and belongingness at the home, they will be looking it for somewhere else. So whenever someone is showing them some sort of affection or anything, these people will be no it's a sort of influx, sort of, they will be drawn or attached to that. So there will be people who will be abusing them, these people are exploited like this. So alcohol addiction will be very very dangerous, and adolescents have to be really careful. And not only the parents, even the school managements have to be very careful about it, and educate students about these things. And also increase likelihood of committing violent crimes. When you are into alcohol addiction and you have huge craving to have alcohol, and you don't find money to buy alcohol or something, so what happens, you try to do petty thefts. Later you tend to involve in antisocial behaviors, you will commit crimes. You could have seen in the newspapers also, people have thrown a stone on a old lady and took out bangles or earrings or gold or what was there, small gold, or no, out of rage, out of that, they really don't know how to handle that craving, handle. So that moment they want alcohols, so it will drive a person insane, and the judgmental part is totally impaired, and he doesn't know what he is doing. So they will be committing lot of crimes. And also you could see even the employment or finance also plays a huge role, because when you don't have a proper employment, or when you don't have financial sources, so to procure this substance, they will be indulging in lot of illegal activities. And also like I told you, when you're having alcohol addiction, it doesn't mean the addiction will be pertaining only to alcohol alone. So they will be indulging in other substances as well. So they will be using other substances like opiates, cannabis, whatever, heroin, brown sugar, all the other they could be. It's not, sometimes they will be injecting them as well. So you need to, whenever you are trying to assess, so you need to take proper assessment, and come to know what are the other substances they are indulging in as well. Because like I told you, when they are under the influence of all these substances, they will be engaging in risky behaviors, risky um, uh, uh, adventures, and unprotected sex, or experiencing sexual abuse or date rape, what I told you earlier. Like they mix something, some substances in the drinks, be it a normal drink also, non-alcoholic drinks also. So most of the women get sexually abused through these means. And also increased risk of attempted or complete suicide. So people who have alcohol addictions, they will have high tendencies of suicidal ideations, as well as they also commit they also attempt suicides. So impact on health, it has a huge impact on liver disease, digestive problems, heart problems, diabetes, eye problems, sexual functions, birth defects, bone, neurological complications, weakened immune system, risk of cancer, medication and alcohol interactions. We have talked about this earlier. Among this, what is left is the neurological complications. And people who consume alcohol, they will have improper concentration, and also eventually that will be leading to either short-term memory loss or long-term memory loss also. That will lead for dementia. Okay, and also there is another condition known as Wernicke syndrome, where uh, the B12, vitamin B12 level is lower, and these people will have a particular type of dementia where they become disoriented, and this is very particular for alcohol addiction. This is known as Wernicke syndrome, and when you start giving thiamine B12 supplementations, then only this disorder will be rectified. Unless you do that, they will be having this problem. So, diagnosis, how can you do the assessment? There are various assessments that could be done for alcohol addictions, but according to DSM-5, there are 11 symptoms, and when 5 or 6 more than these symptoms are like S positive, then you can say that the person is like alcohol use dependence. So you often drink alcohol in large amounts, you want to cut down or control your alcohol, but your efforts are not successful. You spend a lot of time getting alcohol, using it and recovering from the effects of your drinking. You have alcohol cravings. Your use of alcohol result failing to meet your obligations at work or school or home, or there will be absenteeism in your work. You continue to use alcohol despite it leading to recurrent problems socially or in your relationships, or any harmful effects. Even you know that it is causing harmful effect, you will not refrain from using it. Okay, and you give up or reduce your participation in important social, occupational, or recreational activities because of your alcohol, because they will be saying a lot of excuses to indulge them in social gatherings or in some sort of occupational gatherings because of this habit. And also uh, they use alcohol even in spite of knowing that it might cause any physical hazardous condition, like driving when they are working in some machinery works. So they will, knowing the intensity of or the grievance of the work they are doing, they will be under the influence of alcohol. And you all know about the film Arjun Reddy. I don't know what's the Tamil name. Vikram's son has acted. I think some Aditya Varman also. In that, he is a surgeon, and he performs a surgery under the influence of alcohol, and he will be detained for that as well. So he is barred from continuing with his medical practice. So in spite of knowing like it is going to have a huge impact, they'll not refrain themselves from taking alcohol. So that's one of the criteria. The other one would be you continue to use alcohol even knowing that it has a huge impact on your physical and your psychological well-being. And also experience alcohol tolerance, either by needing more alcohol to get intoxicated or feeling diminished effects when drinking the same amount of alcohol. That is, your tolerance level will be keeping increase day by day. So you, when you consume to a particular level, you will not get the high feel, or you will not be having the effect of taking alcohol. So your tolerance levels will be keep on increasing. So that also is one of the criteria according to DSM-5. The other one would be like you experience withdrawal symptoms or use alcohol or other substances to prevent withdrawal symptoms. So some people, what they do, in spite of having the withdrawal symptoms, to cope with these withdrawal symptoms, they will indulge again with the same substance usage. That is one thing. And the other diagnosis would be like when we talk about the tolerance, like I told you, the person needs a large quantity of alcohol to feel intoxicated. However, when they have a lot of physical effects on their physical health. They know that they have physical effects, like they have their liver damage, or they have heart disease, or whatever. It has a huge impact on their central nervous system. In spite of that, also they keep on increasing their dosage level. The next one would be withdrawal symptoms, where they experience tremors, insomnia, nausea, anxiety, irritability. In spite of that, also they will be using alcohol. And also unsuccessful attempts to cut down. Okay, and even when they think they want to like abstain from taking alcohol, they'll not be able to. Beyond their intentions, they'll not be able to refrain from consuming alcohol. And also time consumed, irrespective of what is the time of consumption of alcohol, they again have the craving to take alcohol. So they might have taken some in the morning, again they will be having the craving to take it again, very within a short span of time. And also persistent, the person continues consuming alcohol even though he knows that it harms him physically and psychologically. So, according to DSM 5, there are three classifications of alcohol use disorder. One is the mild, moderate, and severe. Okay, if you have 2 to 3 of the 11 symptoms which we have discussed earlier, it is known as mildly alcohol use disorder. And if you have 4 to 5 symptoms, then it is moderate level. And if you have 6 or more symptoms, in the 11 symptoms that we have discussed, then it's said to be severe alcohol disorder. So, how to overcome? What are the coping mechanisms? So, you need to know your triggers. So, what are the triggers that will make you like to take alcohol? So, it could be any family member, or it could be any of the friend, it could be any of the picture, or it could be the time, it could be the place. So, you'll be having the external situations, external people, or something in your no external environment that will be triggering you to consume alcohol. It could be stress, it could be financial worries, it could be any relationship problems. So always know your triggers. And the next thing would be, you should know how to manage your stress. So we, in our webinar series, we have talked a lot about like how you can manage your stress through meditation, mindfulness, visualization, breathing techniques, and also JPMR. The other thing would be practice health habits, like you have to take care of your physical and psychological health. So you have to maintain your circadian rhythm, which comprises of your sleep, eating patterns, and your day-to-day activities, everything. So when you have a balanced circadian rhythm, your physical activity should be there, which means you have to have the habit of doing exercise regularly. And sleep, 7 hours of sleep is a must. And also you should have a consistent lifestyle. So this alcohol addiction is also a part of your no lifestyle disorder sort of. So you should have a balanced and consistent lifestyle. So know what your habits are, healthy habits are, and stick on to them. So this could be one another coping mechanism. So, how you could prevent? We always believe in prevention. Prevention is always better than cure. So, early interventions are always very much fruitful. Okay, so giving them some activities or hobbies where you make them like refrain from no thinking of alcohol. Or whenever you see like people with red eyes, slurred speech, or problems with coordination and memory lapses, you can identify those teenagers. Okay, these things are in the teenagers. So you can identify them, and you can like talk to the caregivers or talk to immediate professionals to help them to combat with this. And also, if the teenagers are having any difficulty or in their relationship with their friends, or with the social gatherings, or if they are having any sort of withdrawal, social withdrawal symptoms, you need to like working on that. And also, if they are having any problems with their grades or any other issues with the management or with other teachers, or if you feel that the child is, or the adolescent is having frequent mood changes, or if the child is having defensive behavior, sometimes they will put up, they will just have this attention seeking behavior, or just no, a defensive behavior wherein they really wanted to overcome this alcohol addiction. So you have to look in for the red flags, and you have to like and try to help them out. How you can help these teenagers? You can set a good example. You can talk with them. Never confront. You talk. You ask a lot of open-ended questions. Make the child comfortable. Okay, allow him to speak, and first of all, listen to the child instead of keeping on bombarding them with questions. Allow the child to speak and get into the crux of the problem. Know why they got into the habit of alcohol. Then let your child know what behavior we expect. So it's with the NLC. So natural, no, that's the consequence you talk about. So you enlighten them like what the uh, I mean, what would be the consequences of their behavior? Enlighten them, then let them choose like what behavior they have to indulge in. Sort of instead of reprimanding, instead of punishing them, this would be a good way to deal with the problems. And for alcoholism treatment, you have rehabilitation centers, you have Alcoholic Anonymous, which is very famous by Dr. Bill and Dr. Bob. They have come up with the 12 steps of Alcohol Anonymous, which also is a sort of support group, sort of where people with the various stages of alcohol addictions will come up and meet with other people and try to like no, have support from other people. And there are a lot of other support groups as well. There are drug therapies where the psychiatrist and the other physicians will play a crucial part. And counseling is like the pivotal, where there are various therapies that could be attributed. While counseling, there is a particular technique which is very very useful for treating alcohol cases, known as motivational interviewing. You roll with the resistance. Sometimes these people will not be very sort of what to say, you can't convince them to leave this habit, so you have to roll along with their resistance and try to like make them stick on, or make them to change their behavior. So we all know about the behavior patterns. They will be sometimes in the pre-contemplation stage or the contemplation stage. You need to like assess in which stage of change they are into, because even when they are into the change and they take the treatment, many a times there are chances of relapse. So many after the recovery also, there are a lot of cases that have gone into relapse. So you need to be very careful when you are planning the change. And also you have to talk about the nutritional changes that happen, and also counsel them regards to your nutritional changes as well. So treatment also has the detoxification and withdrawal of the no, alcohol, or counseling support groups, medical attention or medication. um, and there are certain medications like the disulfiram, or that could be prescribed by the medical professionals. And while giving these medications, you have to strictly tell them that they have to refrain from taking alcohol, because disulfiram is one a drug which causes nausea and vomiting, and it will have a lot of when they consume alcohol, there will be a lot of adverse things that happen to them. So you have to notify them. And also detox therapies and medications and support groups. When we talk about the therapies, motivational interviewing, CBT, IPT, interpersonal psychotherapy is also very useful for this alcohol addiction. So we have come to end of our presentation. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Veena, for your wonderful presentation. I can say you have covered the effects of alcoholic addiction on the important aspects of well-being like physical, emotional, economic, psychological, and social. That was very clear. And also explained how it affects the individual and also the family. It is more, awareness causing thing. And I request the participants to open the questions to discuss with the resource person or put your questions in the chat box. We can discuss. Thank you.
Yes, I think there is a question. I will facilitate the question and answers for myself.
Question in the chat box.
Anita ma'am, yes. Chandra, can you read the question for me?
Yes, Anita ma'am is asking, like, you explained about the effects of alcoholic addiction at family level. There is something called codependence. Could you please explain that?
Yes, codependence, yes, ma'am. It is something like sometimes what happens is even when you get refrained from alcohol, these things also. Sometimes what happens is you will there will be certain points or certain incidences that will trigger you to again get back into alcohol, no habit. So that is one thing, and.
I couldn't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? So sometimes what happens is even when they want to refrain, they will say like instead of the real problem, they'll say because of that I have taken alcohol. So finding excuses. So it's like a sort of what to say. Uh, who can these people are like they cannot function on their own. Sometimes what happens is mm, uh, they feel like giving
It is
excuses because of that I have taken alcohol, because of this I have taken alcohol, sort of.
breaking, ma. Veena,
Yes,
Veena, I'm Subhashri here.
yes ma'am.
Voice break ஆகுது.
I think இது நெட்வொர்க் சரியில்லைன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் மேம். Hello,
Yeah, now okay.
is it okay ma'am?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could hear you now, Veena.
Codependency is all about having one drug leads to other dependency
Yes.
also.
So like I told you, like if they are having any sort of stress and they are under the influence of, they are taking any other drugs for their, if they, for instance they have any comorbid symptoms or they are taking any sort of treatment for that, instead of coping with that they are not able to, then they will be indulging in substance usage. So one thing leading to the other. It's a sort, as if a coping mechanism, they will indulge in alcohol usage. So I think this would give you the answer. Shubha ma'am?
Ma'am, you were saying something about codependency. Ma'am, would you like to contribute?
Yes.
Shubha ma'am, can you hear us?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The codependency is the alcohol addiction. So, no, any addiction, there is a complete neural pathways laid in the brain. So there is a possibility for the person to get into any kind of an addictive behavior. For example, the repetitive usage of alcohol and addiction, increased amount alcohol tolerance, all that Veena has covered. This person may have another addiction of playing, playing with something related to rummy or something, or it's all functional, but also there will be an kind of an comorbid is a medical condition, but this can be a functional addiction also they may have. They may get into indulge into something else like a cigar along with an alcohol and also other drugs. So there is a possibility for them to have, because this gives them an additional condition where they also associate that addiction. So if this is not prevalent or this is not possible right now, they use that as the lighter version to soothe their addiction, carving. So this is one of the research study. They say that the comorbid conditions I mean to say the codependency of using another pathological, kind of in conditions may lead to even more carving for the addiction. So it becomes a cycle for them. How depression becomes a cycle, like that, it becomes a cycle for them to, these people get into relapse very quickly.
It's with the substances as well as with the triggers as well, ma'am. Like if you have no codependency is something like I told you, when you are looking in alcohol, people who are consuming alcohol, it's not only that they will be pertaining themselves to usage of alcohol alone, so they will be indulging in the usage of the other substances as well. So this will be leading them to addiction of the other substance. So this is like, no, you are getting dependent on other things as well. So I hope
Uh,
me and Shubha
Dr.
ma'am
Veena
have
and Shubha
answered.
ma'am,
Yes.
the question of codependency was asked in relation to the relationships, ma'am. Would you shed some light on that, both of you? You have to say something?
Codependency with respect to relationships, what happens is sometimes in families you could like see the father consumes alcohol, okay, and it happens like sometimes the son thinks like it is okay to take alcohol, okay, it is okay to consume alcohol. Sometimes what happens is the husband is alcohol addict or something, sometimes he asks the wife also to indulge in alcohol along with him. So this would be like leading to the other person also to get into the addiction of substance. So it's a sort of like role modeling sort of. So codependencies are like when you are getting indulged in substance abuses. So that is one thing. So with respect to relationships, it could be in various manners, like the triggers, um, where what to say.
Shall I?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Codependency in the relationships or something, a person clinging to the other person, that they will be
Hmm.
extremely pleasing the other person, and
Yes.
they are not assertive, and as well as they tend to be very dependent, and they make sure that the relationship is with, always with an existing of the other person, pleasing everybody. They make things for an extra mile for pleasing the other person, and it turns into, most of the time, it is they won't actually address their own needs, and they become very highly dependent on the other person, and it is mostly with an Indian kind of and culturally the spouses are seems to have this kind of an codependent codependency, and this is also making the other person it's not like an empowering the person, rather than making them independent, highly highly worried, whatever the decision they take, it is kind of an the other person's say only will be there. So such a kind of an aspect are there in the codependent relationship. I don't know what is the context the question has been asked, but there are a lot of studies about the codependency in relationship with respect to couple, with respect to parenting, how this has been generation after generation, it has been transferred, all that is there. If you want, I can share the link on that.
Yes. Uh, Thanks, Shubha ma'am. Yes, you have thrown the codependency with respects to relationship. I was like searching like codependency with respect to relationship in alcoholism. I'm like totally focused on the topic. So I was relating this could be sometimes no in relationships the spouse will be asking the wife to indulge in like taking alcohol, or so the wife to please the husband will be like even she doesn't want to take also will be like indulging herself in that. So I wanted to
Yeah,
draw.
I
Yes.
totally agree with you. You had a presentation on alcohol addiction, but
Yes,
the
yes.
question seems to be very different.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's the reason
Yes, yes,
I
ma'am. Yes, yes.
biased it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
But
ma'am.
both of you have beautifully answered the question, ma'am. Thank you for the insights. Vinay,
Yes.
I've got a couple of questions in the chat.
Yes, yes. Shabnam Bharadwaj, being a homeopathic doctor, any cure with medicines. See, for alcohol addictions, we have medicines which will help them to refrain from that. As such, we can't say the total cure unless the other aspects of psychological interventions are also like imparted. So it's like a holistic approach. Only homeo medicines alone will not help in the cure. So it's like a holistic approach. So definitely homeo medicines are helpful. Yes. Vijay Priya ma'am, sadly consuming and storing alcohol to socialize has become a status symbol among men. Chandra, can you please study? My network is very fluctuating, sort of.
Sadly, consuming and storing alcohol to socialize has become a status symbol both among men and women. I was shocked to learn that my daughter's friend of seventh grade always consume different wines during get together. How can we approach about this to related moms? Can you enlighten, please?
Yes, Vijay Priya ma'am, a very valid question you have asked because alcohol consumption, the religious aspects also play an influence because in certain religions, because this is a public forum, I don't know how far it will be like okay for us, but it's okay in certain religions. They are like okay with like consumption of wines. Okay, and when you look at nowadays in it has become like when you are socializing to consume wines, and also there are various materials or various sources or informations which give like you consume this amount of red wine that is good for your health. So uh, see, we don't know about the validities of those studies, or I mean there are studies that have proved that they are good, but whether to indulge in that or not is a person's personal choice. Okay, like I told you, I've given you the percentage of alcohol that is present in wine. It is 12 to 18%. So even it is a poison also. Sometimes poisons are medicine, you can't disagree with that. Okay, but to what extent you have to consume it is all a person's own individual choice. Definitely you have to tell them the effects of alcohol. You have to educate. That the reason I told you it's not only the responsibility of the parents, it's also the responsibility of the institutions to tell the students what are the effects that no these substances are going to have. That's the reason we have the ministries that are working in to have the ads. Even when you look at the cigars, they are having a pictorial depiction of how cigarette is going to affect your health, isn't it? But still lot of factors influence, because nowadays the media plays a crucial role, because media has what to say, it is glorifying the gray area nowadays. Earlier it was either black or white, but nowadays you could see like the media is glorifying the gray as the new superhero, sort of. You looking for the heroes who are a sort of a thug. In real life he will be like smoking cigarette, he will be consuming alcohol, but he is the hero of the movie, and you're glorifying that as well. So slowly it is like conditioning the mindset of people that it is okay for you to indulge in those habits. So lot of things, lot of awareness has to be created. So definitely it's not going to be like a one man that is going to bring the change. As responsible citizens of this society, it's a responsibility of each one of us to create this awareness. So definitely you could talk with the child, you could talk with the mom as well. Definitely that will at least have certain impact. I hope so. Thank you, ma'am.
Very well said, Veena. I think it is up to the individual to decide whether to get addicted or not. Because some years ago, I heard a news about women college students. They were consuming a lot of paracetamol to feel, drunk, that feeling. And that was very vibrant. It was a local thing that happened in my area. But, so it is about the person who decides to take it or not. But it is important to build the awareness to have a very healthy society. We have one last question from Muthu sir. He's asking, nowadays the academics are becoming very competitive. And is it one reason which are enabling the students in the schools and colleges to go for drug abuse?
Um, Sir, it's more with the peer pressure rather than the academics. Academics, you can't like blame the academic structure, but academic structure, how you could blame is, instead of teaching life skills to the students, they are more oriented with the academic performance. So that could be a reason. So if you teach life skills, if you teach the students what is more important, so skill important, knowledge is more important rather than the academic performance. So yes, like it is not the main villain, sort of, but it also has an impact on these issues. Lack of awareness, like I told you. If you create awareness, earlier we used to have moral science classes, we used to have like sports is one thing which will really help students to build resilience, team building, sort of. The sense of belongingness would be like inculcated in sports. When you have stripped off that sports from students, the only thing, or the only way for them to have these sense of belongingness would be through the other means. So in a way, if it's not a direct factor, it is an indirect factor. So definitely the academic has to be like, the system itself has to be like cleansed, so that there will be bright future for the coming generations. Thank you so much for that question, sir.
Thank you so much, Veena, for your patient answering and elaborate discussion. And thank you, participants, for your questions. It was nice to know many things. And now it's time to honor our resource person, Dr. Veena, with nice words of thanks. And I request our dear Dr. Subhashri ma'am, can you do this, please?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Chandra, for inviting me. I'm really happy to thank Dr. Veena for her very comprehensive, it is actually a course, certificate course on addiction. She has made it an attempt to give it in a nutshell. And she has also covered the entire symptoms and how their behavior analysis, and also how this, and she has given all the valid points to understand the alcoholism as an person from another, not only just in medical profession, also psychologist, and as well as the common man. So it is becoming an entire responsibility of everyone. So if you really see, the media plays a major role. Yeah, none of the movie doesn't actually have a scene without an alcohol consumption. If there is a friend, it is usually combined with saraku. So if it is Sunday ana kosu kuda quarter kudikum அப்படின்ற மாதிரி, this is something which has been normalized in everybody's life, which we need to actually voice over. I think this is something which I really feel that the responsibility of being in health profession or allied health professions, and also the psychologist and therapist, have been reflected in Veena's. It's like a plea. She has mentioned that everybody has to take care of this. It's a society problem. It is not just an individual or an kind of a person. I really thank wholeheartedly Veena for her wonderful comprehensive presentation on the alcohol addiction. And also, I thank all the participants who have been traveling with us and asking and wonderful questions to interact and answer. And I really thank our core team members also. So, officially, please accept our thanks from the Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai, and as well as the other collaborative, institutions, Madras School of Social Work, Chennai, and Madurai MS Challamuthu Rehabilitation Trust, and also the other, the psycho-oncology, Turkey, and also with all our core team members. Please accept our gratitude, and also we look forward for another session. And Veena's regular dialogue could be continued with this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that wonderful vote of thanks. It's really an honor to get it from you always. And participants, kindly send in your queries and feedback to my webinar feedback@gmail.com. We will meet tomorrow with yet another wonderful session. Thank you. Good night. Bye bye.